Hey, welcome back everybody. This is Dave with Alum House, and in a previous video I've received a lot of questions and comments on running your stream mix off of a matrix. So I just want to take a few minutes and walk us through setting that up, and so let's dive right in. All right, so first off, you can see here up on the top right that we do have some metering happening, which is because all of our instruments are playing and they are coming through our main mix. So if I turn this main up, you'll see the increase in the level in the top right. And if I turn it down, you'll see that it goes down. So this would be just like you've got your mix going to your main speakers in your house mix, in your room. And we want to take a copy of this and set it up for our stream. Now the benefit from doing this is that you can then run your stream through a limiter to further control the sound and send it out to your stream with a great bit of clarity. So I've zoomed out because on this right hand side we're going to use a matrix, and to get started what we're going to do is hit our matrix tab, which is the bottom way down over here. That's our fourth layer. And what we're going to do in this example is just take matrix 1 and 2. We want the opportunity to set up a stereo matrix to send to our stream. Although mono will get you by, stereo is going to have a much better impact for your listener and your consumer. So to start out, we'll hit the select button, and then we'll go up here on the screen, and this bottom left button gives us an option to say link. We'll click that, and then we will confirm on the right. And so now we can bring this up, and you'll see that they move together. So I'm just going to go ahead and set that at 0 for right now, and then we'll move on with the next steps. Next thing to do is on the right hand side we're going to select our main mix. And what we're going to do is we're going to send a copy of the main mix to this matrix. So we've hit select. Now we want to mouse over to the Sends tab. And here you can see that we have some options of encoders. So we're going to just take this first one, which is level for 1 and 2, and we're going to push this up. Because it's linked, it says follow left and right pan. You see 3 and 4 and 5 and 6, those are don't have that option, but because we linked matrix 1 and 2, we can push this up. We'll also see a numerical value here for our dB level. We're going to put that up to 0. There we go. So now we have a full mix of our mains coming to our matrix. Now you can see we do have some clipping going on here, and that's all right. We'll deal with that in a minute. Now that we've got a copy of our main mix going to our matrix, we can go ahead and select our matrix. And now we can come up to the top right and hit Effects. We can go to Effects Home. I'm going to zoom in here. All right, so if you watched any of my previous videos, I've talked through the different effects that I'm running here for our instrument effects, and then we've got some inserts on the right. But what we want to do is set up an insert. You can see rack number 8 down here. We do have a precision limiter. Now, right now, in the previous video, it was set up as left and right, but we're going to change that to be matrix. So we'll use this little knob here to go over and select our precision limiter. And then on the left hand side we're going to set that to matrix 1 and 2. Matrix 1, select. And then I got to take this one all the way down to matrix 2. Get through the buses, matrix 2. All right, so now we're set up on matrix 1 and 2 to have this precision limiter. We're going to go ahead and insert that by clicking the button. Notice it did both of them because they are linked. And now we have the option of hitting Edit, and we can go ahead and set up all of our settings on this limiter to make sure we've got a good clean sound that's not clipping. If we hit the Home button while our matrix is selected, we do have the ability to hit not only dynamics with a compressor, but also an EQ. And those would happen before it hits the limiter. So if I go into the compressor screen here, I could maybe bring this down and control it a little bit more, and that would control all of the mix before it goes through this EQ. and then the EQ would go into the limiter, and then we would have a great way to craft our sound specifically for the stream. All right, so the last thing we need to do here as we're getting this set up is we need to route this matrix to an output, and then we have to route the output to our USB channels. So to do that, we're going to go to Routing. We will mouse over to our Output section. And when we get to the Output section, we then have the opportunity to either select an output here. Now these correlate to your outputs that are on your console, which are XLR outputs. That's not a bad idea, but maybe you don't want to take that up. And so you can come over here to Auxiliary, and we could use some of these auxiliary outs, and let's say Auxiliary 1, and we can set that to be a Matrix 1. And then Auxiliary 2 would be Matrix 2. And so now, internally, we've routed our mix to the main output. The main output then is copied over to Matrix 1 and 2. Matrix 1 and 2 digitally is going over to Auxiliary 1 and 2. And now what we can do is come over to our user settings. We will find our outputs. And because we're going to be tracking USB output 1 and 2 over to our stream, we're going to go output 1, auxiliary out 1, and then 2 is going to go to auxiliary out 2. And now that matrix mix running through your limiter is going to go out to your USB 1 and 2, because previously we came over here and on card we set up card out as user out 1 through 8, and you can see here matrix 1 and 2 is what's going out to our channels 1 and 2 of USB. Now that's a bunch of internal routing that we just went through. I know it can be confusing. Feel free to ask questions in the comment section. I try to stay up top on these things because I know you guys are trying to get your streams up and running the best way possible. So the benefit, as I close, the benefit to this is that you now have one mix for your room, and that same mix is being copied to send to your stream, but you have different levels for both of those. So that's it for right now. Thanks for checking this out. We will catch you in the next video. Keep making great music.